Hello everyone, I'm Brian. Today I'm reacting to Matthew McConaughey in conversation with Sadhguru. So this was a request. If you have a request, please leave it in the comments below. Please leave the title, the channel, and the link. That way I can search for it. If you leave the link, it might get held for review and I won't be able to see it. Well, I can see it, but I don't ever check that area because it's full of spam stuff. So let's go and get started.
Namaskaram. Good morning, Matthew.
Good morning, Sadhguru.
How are you, man?
I'm good, man. Where you find yourself?
Right now I'm somewhere in southwestern corner of Georgia, just about to enter Florida, maybe Burnswick, somewhere around that.
All right. Well, I'm in Austin, Texas.
Oh, that's good.
An hour ahead of me.
Yeah, but you look at my background, it looks like I'm in Amazon forest.
Yeah, man. I knew you were somewhere where it's fertile and a bit jungly. Yeah. You going around on the book tour?
Yes, meeting people, talking, doing a little bit of, meeting people, that's it. No major events because pandemic, no assemblies, but just individual people.
That's my last year. I wrote a book, Greenlight, to put it out, and I did it all virtual. It was all this for a year. There were some people that I miss being there in person.
Yeah.
But I must say that in a lot of ways, this way of communicating is very intentional. I mean, because I was in, Milan, Italy at 9 a.m., London, England at 10, New York at 11, LA at 12, and when
What
the
kind
LA
of jet-
meeting was
what
over
kind
at
of
1,
jet
I was
do you
having lunch
use,
with my
Matthew?
family. What's that?
What jet do you use?
This jet, that's what I mean. And I was like, look, I was all over the world, and I was done at 1 o'clock. In 30 seconds when I was done, I was having lunch with my kids. I was like, this system's okay. I kind of like this in ways.
I think in 2020, probably I've done 4 times more work than I would normally do traveling.
Yep.
Literally.
Yeah. Still finding time to get on your motorcycle.
Yes, but right now, this trip I'm driving a truck with a small camper, so not entering any hotels or homes, just living on the truck, cooking for myself and managing things.
I've got 4 Airstreams.
I wish you would show that truck. I'm kind of curious. I've seen a few people that build their own how do I say, mobile house, I suppose, and it's very interesting. Very cool too.
Uh-huh.
And I'm in one of them now in my backyard, and this is what I take on the road right here, and this
Okay.
particular Airstream.
I got something that can go off-road, a little small, not very… that way it's not big as an Airstream, but this will go where you want.
When it said Airstream, I'm like, what is that? Is that like I guess one of those big camping things? No, I'm more talking like small, like I don't know, like a van, I suppose, or someone even converted a bus. That's kind of crazy.
Nice. Nice. Well, cool, man. I'm glad we're gonna get to talk for a little while. Say howdy. I'm glad to meet you. I got a friend of mine, Mark Benioff, who's turned me on to you. He's an avid listener of yours.
How's Mark? Is he in Hawaii or in California?
No, he's over further west, Hawaii.
Yeah, Hawaii, that's what I asked. He told me
Yeah.
last time he was in Hawaii.
Yeah. Yes. He's doing good. He's the one who turned me on to you.
Thank you.
Yeah. I'd love to ask you a few questions. We'll get some conversations about all this good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Your opening on karma, and we could spend hours talking about this because this is my juice here when we say like, lift the haze of the contradictions. Let's talk about some haze lifting on the contradiction. There's a symbol to me that has meant a lot to me. It comes from the Bible, Matthew 6:22. It's the mandorla, and it's saying that, and even Ralph Waldo Emerson talks about it. We talk about future and past. We talk about heaven and hell. We talk about good and evil. And we see these contradictions that butt each other. And the mandorla covers itself and is the third eye in the middle and says that spot is the spot of paradox. That spot is where all the truth lies. That's where all the colors of the truth lies. It's not a contradictory shade of gray and compromise. It's actually where all the good stuff is. Paradox has been very helpful for me in understanding and having a high eye, a third eye, and not being so dualistic. Let's talk about that a little bit. Can you jump on that?
Yes, Matthew, what is contradictory is essentially in the psychological space of the human being. In reality, existentially, nothing is contradictory, everything is complementary to everything else. Is the day contradictory to the night? No, it is complementary. If it was all day, you wouldn't know what is night. If it's all night, you wouldn't know what is day.
Contradictory. Contradictory. That makes me think of how to define contradictory now. Is it it's not a contradiction. Contradiction. This is basically saying one thing and then meaning another. It's a contradictory statement, right? So night and day is not a contradiction. It is complementary or just one or the other. It's a duality. Third eye, where everything good lies. I don't know. It's kind of weird he said that. It said the good and the bad, and then somewhere in the middle is where all the good things lie. I would again, I don't know what he's talking about there, but if there's good and bad, and then there's that middle, the middle is where the gray lines lie. It's not good, it's not bad, it's all perspective, I suppose. We know what is good, we know what is bad, but there's this middle avenue that I would assume that is kind of a gray area. And he says it's not a gray area. To some people, this middle area is good, to some people it's bad. It's both one and the same, contradictory. The good is going to be good for everyone, the bad is going to be bad for everyone, but this middle area is neither good or bad, but it is also good and bad. It's all a matter of perspective and whether it benefits someone or not. So how is it so contradiction? Yeah.
So essentially human perception itself, because it is through five sense organs, it can only always perceive only a part of it. See, if I show you this part of my hand, you cannot see this part. If you see this, you cannot see this. This is the nature of all our perception. All the five senses are able to perceive only with the context, otherwise they cannot. So because of that, because we are fed with this kind of part information, our mind tends to think that everything is contradictory to everything else.
Do people really think that way? That night is contradictory to day? Night doesn't make a statement that it is day, or day doesn't make a statement that it is night. The sun doesn't say it's the moon, and the moon doesn't say it's the sun. Huh. I would not say they're maybe I'm digging too deep into this, but it seems like actually the people who say it's contradictory are digging a little too deep into the meaning. A sun is not contradiction to the moon. The day is not contradiction to night. It is merely a… Maybe I'm not thinking too deeply into it. I'm taking it literal.
Man is contradictory to woman, night is contradictory to day, light is contradictory to darkness. No, they're all complementary to each other. It is just that because our perception is so fragmented, five sense organs are made that way. These sense organs are only good for survival process. If you want to know, they are no good. They are only good to help you to survive on this planet. That you can do by perceiving things clearly through your sense perception. If you want to know life the way it is, if you want to know this phenomena of life the way it is, you have to go beyond your sense perception. In a way, the entire yogic science is all about this. Even the karma that we are talking about is all about this, because all the karmic inputs are in this sense, bits and pieces of information out of which we are trying to make something. This is like a child starting to, let us say, we give him a 1,000,000-piece jigsaw, he puts 4 pieces together and says, "Here I got it, this is a bear," all right? But there are 1,000,000 other pieces that you have never seen. So, looking at life in pieces through keyhole visions makes everything look like one is against the other. but in existentially nothing against anything else, because as we sit here, see, that is your body, this is my body. This is my mind, that is your mind. What you call as my body, what I call as my body is what I have accumulated is my body, what you have accumulated is your body. What I have accumulated in impressions is my mind, what you have accumulated as impressions is your mind. But there is no such thing as my life and your life. This is a living cosmos. You have gathered a little bit, I have gathered a little bit, we're enjoying that. The privilege of creation is, the magnanimity of creation is that though we are really nothing in this existence, it has given us an individual experience, which is a tremendous, tremendous privilege. Unfortunately, human beings are not able to appreciate or understand this privilege.
I would say there are some people who do, but I do agree that majority of people don't really appreciate what they've got. Again, mostly in developed nations. Just, again, I see things a little bit differently. I'm pretty grateful for most things, but I don't know why or how I am like that. But when I see, I'll say Western people, you could say Americans too. I mean, there are many Americans who are very appreciative of what they've got, and I will say, and this is based purely on my opinion, based on nothing that's statistic or factual, but it seems like the religious people tend to be more appreciative of their things versus, say, people who are not so religious. Not to say atheists, but just people who are not as religious to non-religious, and even atheists are appreciative of what they got too. Again, it's just, I think they're more of a minority though, and it's just because of this abundance and this entitlement that I'd say Western, or I don't think it's a Western thing, I think it's a developed nations things. Once survival instincts, or should I say, once survival is out the way, food is not a problem, shelter is not a problem, food and water is not a problem, it becomes what else can I have? You know, we're looking for more and more things. It's once the basics are covered, then we want more. The priority is, of course, the basics. Then after the basics cover is the more stuff. Again, I don't know brand names that are like super high fashion, except for, oh wait, I can't even remember that last one. That brand, what is it? Gucci, I guess. That's the only brand name I know. I mean, I'd say Nike's like high fashion, but I don't think so. That's like expensive stuff for me, but I think that's like low quality stuff, I guess. That's weird. But yes, we tend to watch the exuberant, and when we watch TV shows and a whole bunch of, how do I say, celebrities, and they're portraying this life that a lot of people want. I mean, I just want to live comfortably. That's good enough for me. For the most part, you know, of course I want to make more. Everyone wants that, but it's just a matter of how you present it, I suppose. And some people present it in such a terrible way where they feel that they're entitled to it, or they demand it, and not necessarily work for it.
Though you are not even a speck of dust in this cosmos, you have an individual experience. You can look at it from your own end, as if you are a whole universe yourself. But if you take this individuality too seriously, everything will be contradictory. Once it's contradictory, as you get more invested in these contradictions, conflict is a natural outcome, you know.
Yes, heard. You know, you said in your book, destiny is what you create for yourself. Fate is when you fail to create your own destiny.
What book is that? Is that the Karma book? Dude, I have one credit. I was thinking about getting the Karma book, but I don't know. I was looking for Upanishads and Bhagavad Gita. Actually, I need to get I think good book to recommend in the Upanishads and the Bhagavad Gita. Good lord, I am terrible at pronouncing those. But if there's like a really good book, I've seen there's like many books, but is there a few audiobook, not reading book, or audiobook. But if there's a good one, recommend it down below. Because I have one credit right now, I get another one, and I also got like a $20 credit that I all got for not necessarily free, but for a really cheap price. And I wanted to get, already got inner engineering, haven't started yet. I'm waiting for this one item to come in so I can start listening to it. But that's an interesting quote. Destiny is what you create for yourself. Fate is when you fail to create your own destiny. Ooh, that's a good quote. Ah, man, yes. A lot of people, again, I can only mostly speak for Western, but mostly American, that they feel helpless because they don't think they have control over their life. And I think that's part of this, what they say, victimhood mentality. When they don't believe they have control over their lives, and their life is based, they themselves are just a product of their surrounding. To a degree, that is true, but the control over your life portion, that is absolutely under your control. You choose what happens in your, what you choose, what you do to your body. Now, you can't control other people, obviously, but you know, you choose whether you do drugs, you choose whether you buy whatever it is, you choose whether you buy an expensive car or expensive house or expensive Gucci bag. Again, it's the only brand I know. I'm sure there's others like Ralph Lauren. I don't know if that's even a high-end brand, because I see that sometimes. So if I see it, it's probably not a high-end brand. But yes, people make a lot of bad decisions, and they don't realize, in a sense, they don't realize that these bad decisions are affecting how they live their lives, in a sense. And it ends up developing this mental victimhood mentality. That's what I'm getting from that. Destiny is when you create for yourself. Although that top portion is definitely doesn't apply to them, because they don't feel that they're in control of their lives and they're a victim to their lives. But the last portion is something that they act but don't realize it, and they say that, oh, this must be my fate. They don't say that because that's a little bit too maybe philosophical for them. I'm not sure, but they kind of feel like they're a victim of their own surroundings, situations, and their life.
I am a believer in responsibility.
Yes.
I heard that you don't drive through the red lights.
I've run a few red lights. All right, but again, I say, you know, if for people that say, oh, it's all fake, then I always I half jokingly say, okay, then run all the red lights, see what happens. I mean, I believe that the prime mover or God, whatever, or light, that wants our hands on the wheel. Saying we are self-determining creatures. Don't just take the hands off and just completely, inshallah, the whole existence of going through the world. So there's a responsibility and fate, I think, and there's the fate of responsibility, and is that sort of what that line's saying? Destiny is what you create for yourself. Fate is when you fail to create your own destiny. That would be, there's a fate of responsibility. Fate is a fact in waiting.
Whew. Did he misunderstood that? I think, and here's my interpretation. I said it, but I'm going to shorten it. Basically, people, if they try to create something and they're successful, they say that I've created that destiny. And then people, when they try to do something, they say it's fate because, oh, I was meant to fail this. I had no chance of success. No matter what I do, I'd never succeed. And that's fate, because it was destiny and fate are kind of the same thing. I don't know why they're separate, but I guess the second part is where people who fail at what they do, they say that they play the victimhood mentality, where they believe that no matter what they do, they would have failed anyway. And the first part was, whenever people are successful at what they do, to say, oh yeah, I did this, I made this happen, I think.
Fate is a destiny unattended. You did not attend. You did not attend to certain aspects of your life. So they will go by the tendencies that exist within you, or by the social situations that are happening around you. So if you allow outside situations to simply happen the way they happen, largely it'll happen to all of us reasonably the same way if you're living in the same place. But destiny means you take charge of it. And though many times we may not be able to change all the physical situations around us, still we can change the way we experience it. Nobody can stop us from that. What is your life is essentially the way you experience it. What is your life is not in terms of what you have around you. What your life really is the way you experience it. And the way you experience it, or whichever way you experience it, happens within you. What happens within you, if you don't take charge of that, I think it's a wasted life. Outside situations, not always governed by us, there are too many forces around us. Everything is not determined by us. What we have outside right now, we were talking about technology. Well, if you and me existed 500 years ago or 1,000 years ago, what we could do would have been very different. So what we are doing now, let us not take too much pride in what we are doing right now, because this is a consequence of the times in which we exist. If we did exist here at 10,000 years ago, I don't know if you would have found a cave in Austin, I would have found in India. So
Yeah. Yes. We do.
Okay, so I got it wrong. A little bit, a little bit. Yeah, obviously, you have absolute control of your body, and you have no control of everything else, basically. But you have to still take charge of your life. Do things to make your life better. Work hard. Working hard doesn't. Nothing is guaranteed. What Sadhguru is saying is that you have absolute control over this body. You have absolute control over how you experience things in life, which is absolutely true. But trust me, I mean, as much as that is true, it's hard for a lot of people who don't practice these methods of, how do I say, ending suffering, separation from suffering. I don't know the method, but it's basically that life is suffering and a way to separate yourself from that suffering. I do that a little bit already in terms of what I've understood, the way I cope with these things to understand. So if I understand there was nothing I could do, then there's not much there's no sense of worrying about it, because there's nothing you can do in the first place. And if I choose not to do it, then well, I chose not to do anything about it, so I shouldn't be complaining about it either. So but yes, you have absolute control over your body and what you do in your life. You have no control over outside things, other people, other objects. And the best thing you can do is just to do things in your life that will make your life better. Nothing is guaranteed, obviously, but you can, at least you try.
We've been somewhere else doing it some other way.
Yeah. So what we are doing is a consequence of times, but how we experience it is entirely ours. A caveman also, there were cavemen or cave women who were joyful and miserable. Today in 21st century, with all the conveniences, there are joyful and miserable people still, all right? So it is the way you experience is determined by you, not by the situations around you.
Heard. Thank you. You say this line. I love the.
You've been reading the book. I haven't read it yet. I've been trying to open it. It never happened.
Well, you haven't read your book. You don't need to. You wrote it. I actually just got this 2 days ago. I have not had time to read the whole thing, but I've gone through it and seen some nuggets that felt like lyrics that I like. Oh, I like that song. Okay, I hear that. And here's one of those. Karma is about shifting responsibility from heaven to yourself. In this, you become the maker of your own destiny. Now, you just talked on that, but I want to bring up an idea that's something, and my pastor tells me I'm pushing a big rock up a tall, steep hill with this idea I've got. But as a person who likes to play with words, I do as well, I believe that we should be, I'm trying to redefine the word selfish. That being more selfish is actually being more selfless. That being more selfless is actually being more selfish. That we are, we have greater gratification, we have greater joy, we have greater gifts. The more selfish we are, the more individualistic. Now, I know that can go out of hand, and I don't mean when it's at the expense, I don't mean selfish at the expense of excluding a lot of people or making contradictions. But I'm trying to redefine the word selfish.
Yes, actually, that's not a bad point. I don't know if I've ever said anything. It's okay to be selfish. I may have said this before, but not to the point like McConaughey was saying, or Matthew was saying, that you start, it starts becoming like arrogant or at the detriment of other people. It's okay to treat yourself every once in a while and to take care of yourself, basically, but be mindful of, well, how much you spend, for one. You don't want to go broke. and how it affects other people. But yeah, I mean, I'm gonna say it's pretty simple, but there are people out there who are so selfish that it has a detriment to people around them, and those people. You can just see it. They're so arrogant and they are so blind to their selfishness that it's great. Why? Because you can figure out who those people are and avoid them.
Let me redefine the selfish for you.
Ooh.
See, there is nothing here in your experience without involving yourself. So you do not know life without yourself. Only because you exist, there is life. If you did not exist, what do you know about life? There is simply no possibility. So selflessness is just an idea, a futile idea. The only way you can exist here is selfish. The question is like this: for somebody, selfishness means it's all about themselves as an individual. For somebody else, it's for him and his family. For someone else, it's him and his community. For someone else, his selfishness for him and his race or religion or nationality. I'm saying, why are you stingy about your selfishness? Why don't you be absolutely selfish? Why don't you make your selfishness cosmic, at least global? What is it selfishness means? I want to be well, I don't care what's happening to you. Why don't you make your selfishness like this? I want every creature on this planet to be really well. And once you have set this course for yourself, it's not that you're going to solve all the problems, at least you'll be doing your best. And this is all a human being can do. That the question is only about, are you doing everything that you can do or not? Because in our lives, if we do not do what we cannot do, there is no problem. In our lives, if we do not do what we can do, we are a disaster. So my express mission is to see that every human being is doing everything that they can do with a sense of inclusiveness. Selfishness is the only way you can be inclusive. What does selfless mean? What does selfless mean? You'll stop breathing, is it? I'm saying it's just an idea which has never happened. It is just a foolish idea. There is no such thing as selfless, because the very basis of your experience is self.
Ooh,
yes.
Wow.
Yes.
So, is it basically everything that you do is selfish, considering that if you're not selfish, you would not survive? Basically, to survive alone is to be selfish. Selfish, not shellfish. But it's also to include everyone else. So, to ensure your own survivability as well as others. I guess that's about the summary of what Sadhguru was saying. It's to be selfish, but not just to yourself, but to everyone else. At least as much as you can handle. Obviously, you can't be selfish, or you can't be selfish towards the globe, because we are just individual human beings. We can only do so much. But together, hopefully, we can make some good changes.
Yes.
Question is your selfishness inclusive or exclusive? That's all.
Voila. Now don't be stingy with your selfishness.
Yeah. No, don't be stingy with selfishness. At least with selfishness, be generous.
Yes. You obviously have a great sense of humor. I've found that sense of humor is something that, one, it's been a great tool for sometimes unlocking those contradictions for me and other people. But often it's seen, I'm one of those person that will laugh while the quote-unquote wound is still a little bit too fresh. You know what I mean? And I'm like, well, no, it's already happened. So let's start laughing at it now. And I'm still going to be responsible and try and fix the problem. But can we do this while we giggle through fixing the problem?
Oh, oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. For me, I mean, whenever people get hurt, like, is he okay? Are they okay? If they're okay, then laugh about it because they're okay. If it's something serious, then laugh about it later after everything's okay. I mean, and it's kind of weird, I guess. For me, I guess laughing is the, I don't know, coping mechanism, I suppose. There's a lot of people who laugh, who cope with laughing, and oh geez, I just thought of like a whole bunch of accidents with guys skateboarding on like a rail and then they fall and they go like this. Oh. And yeah, I mean, if they're groaning and moaning, they're fine. They're fine. They're alive. They're fine. Laugh. But yeah, laugh. Make sure they're okay first. Laugh, and laugh about it later if they're not okay yet. Take care of them first. Make sure they're okay, then laugh.
And some people that turns off because they go, wait, it's too early to laugh. You can't laugh. You can't. It's too early. We need to be serious about this thing. I'm going, no, I'm still going to do the work. Can we laugh while we fix the problem, or find a way to agree on something, whether it's politically.
You have a right to cry only when you just dropped out of your mother's womb. That's the only time you have a right to cry. After that, you should be laughing out.
Oh.
And now about when the wound is too fresh. See, let me tell you this. See, as I said already, all the external situations, our life situations will not ever happen 100% the way we want. Doesn't matter, small situations, big situations. As your involvement grows in the world, you will see more and more things will not happen the way you want. So what happens in the world, we must understand, it's a reality which involves many forces. We are also one little force in that. So we can push it, we can use our skills, we can use our intelligence, we can use our influence and push that piece as far as we can. But there are too many pieces. It will never happen 100% your way or anybody's way, and I'm glad it is so, because if it all happened your way, where the hell do I go? Little bit your way, little bit my way, little bit somebody's way, this is the way world is. But now you're talking about wound. Wound happens within you. So this one space which you call as myself must happen 100% your way. If this is happening 100% your way, you will just see that what a joke it is, everything that happens around you, and how ridiculously it can happen. So when you see this, it's not that you have to have a sense of humor, laughter is inevitable. When you're laughing within yourself, maybe words also come that way. I never thought I have a sense of humor. These days people are telling me, Sadhguru, you have such a sense of humor. Oh, I thought, oh, is that so? It's just that all the humors in my body are working well, that's all. Let me tell you this. This happened, Shankaran Pillai once had a franchise for Radio Shack. I think Radio Shack is closed down now, if I'm right. Is it closed down or still on?
I think they did. No, I think they did.
Okay.
I think you're correct.
So he used to have a franchisee-ship for a Radio Shack. So one day he ordered a particular component. Looking at the catalog, he saw it is… he wanted a component which is 669 number, he ordered. And the component arrived after a few days. He looked at it and they had sent the wrong number. It was 966 they had sent. He wrote back to them and furious, you sent the wrong part. They said, just turn it around and see. Most of the time life is just that. You're seeing it one way and freaking, turn it around and see, you will laugh at the whole thing.
Just flip it over, yes. Or say it back to front, what makes sense, the foot's on the other shoe. In writing my book, I noticed ways that I got what I wanted in life, ways I got what I was seeking. And I was very clear, even going into writing it, about, oh, there have been many things where I've engineered the success, that I have set the goal, that I said where I wanted to go and went to it and attained it as a traveler. Okay? Set goals and go get them. But I was surprised at how many times that I've found and got what I wanted or succeeded when I was looking for what I did not know what the hell I was looking for. When I was like, I'm going to go seek it.
Those are the best times, huh?
Oh, they're awesome. The one-way tickets, with no return ticket to go on a walkabout. Going, I don't know what I'm...
You don't do walkabout in America. You need to go to Australia to do walkabout.
I've done the walkabout in Australia. I've done the walkabout in Mali, Africa, and Peru, the Fugamundi. Yeah. And those times, I got what I needed. But I didn't know what I was looking for. I just put myself in a position to get rid of all the frequencies that I was having in my Western world, in my busy life. I wanted to go someplace where nobody knew my name, where I didn't speak the language, where time was going to run way too slow for me until I got on time, and then all of a sudden realized that, I feel the rhythms of this place. I'm enjoying my own company. Because those trips for me, the first 12 days, I do not enjoy my own company.
If you do not enjoy your own company, that means you're in bad company, obviously.
Well, it takes 12 days. I think there's a value if you don't enjoy your own company to go, that's why I need to spend more time with myself then, so we can work it out, because I'm the one person that I can't get rid of, so let's work this stuff out. But after about 12 days, on around the 16th day, around the 12th day, I have a breakthrough where I'm like, okay, I've shaken off my demons, I've pulled off my talismans, I'm a naked child. And that's when all of a sudden, boom, an answer comes, and I'm light, and I've shed certain guilt, and I'm present much, and I'm not looking around the bend to see what's coming. I'm not looking over my shoulder to judge where I've been. But I guess my point is, sometimes we don't know what we're looking for, but we go find it. You talked about seeking the unknown, but to put ourselves in a place. Do you think there's a value about put yourself in a place so you can hear it? Put yourself in a place so you can receive it.
See.
For a second there, it sounded like he was living. I think what Eckhart was talking about at one point. About living in the moment, living in the now, and not worrying about the past or the present. Live now, because this now is real. The past doesn't exist, the future doesn't exist, or hasn't happened yet. No need to worry about it, or or now is the only ever existence. That's what it sounded like. It was saying he shed the past memory, and living in the now, but. Seems like he's kind of changed it up there a little bit.
Yeah, people keep coming to me and say, Sadhguru, please bless me, this should happen, that should happen. I tell them, see, my blessing is, may all your dreams not come true. They get shocked. I said, Sadhguru, why? He says, see, what can you dream of? Right now I don't know what you're drinking, suppose it's coffee. If you have had 1 cup of coffee, maybe you will dream of a barrel of coffee. If you have $1 million, maybe you will think of $1 billion. I'm saying all your dreams are just exaggerations of what you already know. If you go like this, you're ensuring that nothing new ever happens to you. So my blessing is, may your dreams not come true. May things that you could never dream of happen to you. If you have to be an open possibility like this, it's very important that we understand, that is why karma is important. Karma means it's the bedrock of your memory. It's the bedrock of your memory means who you are right now as a person. Matthew as a person, as a physical person, as a mental person, as an emotional person, and even as an energetic person, it is a certain volume of memory. Here there's evolutionary memory, there is genetic memory, there's articulate and inarticulate. Unconscious, subconscious and conscious memories. All this memory put together, an amalgamation of this is one person called Matthew. Similarly, every other person. So, now do you want to stand on the stage of this memory? Let's say we see this memory like a platform. If you stand upon this, the richness of your life plays out and you can do your today's dance on that stage. But if you sink into it, it becomes like a quicksand and past just takes away people. See, most human beings just see what is it that they're suffering in their life. They're suffering what happened 10 years ago, now, sitting here. And they're already suffering what may happen day after tomorrow. Essentially, they're not even connected with life, they're mistaking their psychological space as existential. They are suffering two most incredible qualities that only human beings possess on this planet, which is a vivid sense of memory and a fantastic sense of imagination. Unfortunately, most human beings are suffering this. Essentially, they're suffering an evolutionary process. They're just saying, if I was an earthworm, I would be more peaceful. Yes, earthworm is a fantastic creature, it is very eco-friendly, all that is fine, but the possibility is limited. The significance of being human is, the possibilities are unlimited, possibilities are immense. This is why we are on top of the evolutionary pile.
And that's a contradiction right there. The sheer fact that the Earth would the earthworm is very peaceful, eco-friendly, but its possibility is very limited. And then human beings, we have unlimited possibility, yet we're suffering so much. Earthworm, very limited possibility. Which sorry, that brought up a something else that I watched. But anyway, earthworm, limited possibility, doesn't suffer very much. You know, it just goes about its life. Human, unlimited possibility, suffering. And what I thought of was there was, I believe it was a scientific study that was done. They put people, they had an ice cream shop, and one of the shop has 48 flavors, and they say, hey, you can go in there, grab one piece of ice cream, and come out. And then they go out there, come out, and says, okay, how satisfied are you with that ice cream? And most people saying they weren't satisfied. Then, excuse me, they had another ice cream shop with 3 flavors. It was it chocolate, vanilla, or strawberry. And they went in, and the people went into that ice cream shop, came out, and asked, how satisfied were you with that? And they're saying, oh, they're very satisfied. Why is that? Let me know if you can answer that question below. You pause it and think about it and answer below. And here's the answer. So the answer is, the reason why most people were satisfied with the 3 flavored shop, because there wasn't very many options. Out of those 3, a lot of they either like chocolate more than any of the others, or vanilla or strawberry. Whereas the 48 flavored shop, there's so many options that they tried one, it's like, oh, maybe I would have liked the other one more. And they go try the other one, it's like, oh man, I actually liked the first one I had more, but that wasn't all that great. Maybe the third option would have been better. You're sitting there looking, it's like, oh, I want to try that one, or that one, or that one, or that one, or that one. There's so many options that until you try them all, you won't know which one you actually like the most. So you'll always come out unsatisfied until you've basically tried all the options. Same thing goes with those 3 though. Most vanilla, strawberry, and chocolate are very standard flavors, so you already pretty much know which one you like out of those 3. So it's less likely you come out unsatisfied with 3 options versus 48.
When I say on top of the evolutionary pile of all these millions of creatures which are there on this planet, well, we are trying to reduce their numbers, unfortunately, but of all these millions of creatures, in terms of evolution, in terms of our neurological capabilities, perception and assimilation of what we perceive, we are on top of the world. But most human beings are not feeling on top of the world because they are sinking into the platform of their memory. This vast memory is a tremendous thing. See, otherwise today, I'm just saying, see, here I am sitting, there is an evolutionary memory in me, which tells every cell in the body, clearly speaks, this is a human being. Suppose I got fancy for dog food and started eating dog food for 3 days, will I become a dog? No, there is evolutionary memory within me which will never allow anything like that to happen. Now I am here in United States, let's say I eat only American food.
You are American. At that point, you are American. Well, thing is though, I don't know what it's gonna say next, but America. That's the thing. A lot of people who say American, you know what they think of? White people. American is not white people. It is literally practically every race. Mostly white people though, for sure. I don't know where I was going with that one, but anyways, yes, you are American. I had something else to say and I forgot about it.
Well, will I become an American person? Will my color change? Will my everything change? No.
American is not white. I mean, mostly, but American is not white. Like if you say Indian, even though you're from the country of India, you're generally going to be Indian. It's a pretty, I guess, homogenous country, I suppose. But America is, it's not really that homogenous anymore. It used to be a whole bunch of Native Americans, Native Indian Americans, but not so much anymore. It's a blend of a lot of things.
Because there is genetic memory in me. So who you are, who I am, is essentially memory. The question is, will you stand upon this platform and do your act, or will you sink into it and die? This is all the choice you have.
Boom. Yes. Yes. You say, I hope your dreams don't all come true. I love that.
Don't say that. Don't tell everybody, they will curse me.
but listen, but tell me, here's what I hear when you say that. We're such a result-oriented people and culture. I gotta have my result, and we if I just get to the top of that summit, I'll have the ta-da moment. And we get to the top of the summit, we see it's a false summit. There's millions of more summits on the other side.
Yes, not too bad. It's not the fact that it's a false summit, I do believe. I think it's more, maybe he's talking in terms of like, once I get there, I'm done. I don't need to climb any more summits. And that's maybe what he's talking about the false summit. It's more along the lines, I've accomplished this summit. But I see another one over there that I want to climb. Let's see, that one and that one and that one. And then you start climbing each of these summits, because each of those summits is an accomplishment, something that makes you happy. But once you're there, you're like, okay, what's next? You know, you're seeking this next goal, this next happiness, this next whatever it may be, because it is something that you're lacking in life. You're not satisfied with life. So I'm wondering if that's where they're getting at. It's the fact that you have to be satisfied with life. There's nothing necessarily wrong with goal orientation, but it's just more along the lines of understanding that it's not going to give you true happiness. It is. Most of these goal orientation stuff is going to be temporary happiness.
You keep climbing, and there's another one. There's not a ta-da moment where we go, I've got it all figured out. I think we get caught up so often in short-term gains and short-term return choices that give us short-term return on our own investment, us, and we're not making choices that are going to buy us delayed gratification, not only longer in this life, but after we're gone, for our kids and our grandkids and our great-great-grandkids. So it's all a process, is what I'm hearing from that, and how I'm choosing to take that line. It's all a process. Enjoy the process. You do not ever get there. That's the point. That keeps it a game, because if you got there, the game's over.
Ooh, oh. Yes, I hope Sadhguru is going to talk into the fact that no, it's not about the finish line. It's about enjoying the race and not about getting to the finish line. The finish line, once you're done, there's going to be just another one, another race, another thing to do. It's not about a race. It's about enjoying life and making progress, of course. It's not about finishing fast, not about finishing. It's about enjoying it.
The finish line. Everybody is interested too much in finish line, especially in the Western world.
Yeah.
They think finish line is everything. If you're so interested in the finish line, do you understand what is the finish line for life? You want to cross it quickly, is it? It's ridiculous. Ridiculous. Everybody wants to live. So, living here means that now you're breathing, and here, this is living. So, if you're too much interested in the finish line, then you will cross it soon. That is, you will cross it when you're alive, because so many people are living as if they are dead, dead to everything, except for a few needs that they have. A whole lot of people are dead to all other possibilities of life. In yoga, there is a very good kind of a saying which says, if you have one eye on the goal, you will have only one eye to find your way, which is very inefficient. So, you are rendering yourself incapable of life simply because you want to get somewhere. Where do you want to get? Some imagined place. Where is that place? It is just an exaggeration of the past you've already experienced, because you cannot imagine something that you have never seen. You cannot imagine something for which there is no data, because your mind essentially functions from the data that you have gathered, which is essentially your past. So you want to repeat your past and then wondering why life is so boring.
Heard. Yes. Repeat offenders. Reciprocity, going in circles. I hear you. I've done it before. You said yo.
Okay. We'll end it right there before it gets too long, and we'll save it for the last part. Hopefully I don't talk too much. Alright, so that's my first part of reaction to McConaughey. I'm Matthew McConaughey in conversation with Sadhguru. If you like my content, please consider subscribing. Thumbs up, thumbs down below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next vid.